Hi, this is Billie Beene here with a world news flash update. Today's date, August 11, 2024, time about 1 p.m. in Texas. This is World Episode 193. Some of the things we'll be covering: Yemen, secret weapon, and the U.S. and Iran, secret deal, and Russia secures the Kursk nuclear power plant. Some of my sources are God in the Bible, Patriot subscribers, Israeli News Live, New York Prepper, Canadian Prepper, Steve Quayle's site, Ynet, Red State and Reuters, BEFOREITSNEWS, Benjamin Fulford, What's Up with Shipping with Zelle AB. So we have some breaking news that Israeli News Live Stephen Banoun just put out. Overnight, Hezbollah in Lebanon has hit Israel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, hitting with precision many military sites inside Israel. And the Iron Dome did not stop any of the one-way drones. And it's being put forth that the U.S. and Iran have a secret deal, and that Iran will not strike Israel if Israel will agree to a ceasefire in Gaza. So we'll see how that goes. And now War News 24/7 reports that Iran has hundreds of missiles ready to launch. And over the past week, Russia has delivered Russian weapons, including electronic warfare. And we had the U.S. sending from Elmendorf base in Alaska to the UK Lakenheath location, U.S. F-22 Raptors. I believe they sent about 20. And we also have F-18 squadrons that went from the U.S. To the Teddy Roosevelt carrier. So we see the U.S. prepping for something. And Iran has an attack plan. This is being put forth by War News, which I believe is sponsored by Russia. That the plan is to attack Israel first by Hezbollah. And we're seeing that first stage took place last night. Second wave of attack will come from Iran proxies, Yemen, Syria, Iraq. Now, we had over the weekend an unusual event take place in Yemen, where the Houthis, a proxy for Iran, took out 70 special forces who were coming into Yemen. These special forces, I believe, included U.S., UK, Israel, 70. I believe they were coming into Yemen to take out their comms location, whereby they're receiving communications from primarily Iran, but via Russia. Now, what happened is Russia picked up this movement of 70 special force individuals going into Yemen and let Iran know, and Iran let the Houthis know, and the Houthis took out all 70 special forces. And according to the pictures I've seen, it appears to me that they were likely hit by some type of unusual weapon not normally seen in combat use, which I believe was an attack upon the 70 Special Forces by the Houthis using some type of energy or frequency weapon, because the 70 individuals were grouped closely together and there were no signs of normal weapons assault on the bodies or their uniforms. They were simply in a pile and all had been destroyed. So that's going on. Are there such weapons? Absolutely. Yes, we just don't normally see them on the combat battlefield. And now we have this. From War News, 70 Israeli commandos, and it included U.S. and U.K., went into Iran, and then the intel came from Russia to Iran and to the Houthis. All are dead. So that's happening. Now we have information from New York Prepper talking about in Ukraine. So Ukraine did make a strike inside Russia, and I would like to make this comment first of all. I believe that I would like to point out in Yemen, there's an independent Yemen government. There's also the proxies by Iran, the Houthis. In Lebanon, there's an independent government of Lebanon and also occupation by Iran's proxy Hezbollah. Now, I believe Ukraine does not have an independent government, but is operated by the U.S. and NATO, and is more and more involved in being openly a proxy for the U.S. and NATO, with U.S. and NATO troops inside Ukraine and possibly inside Russia. There are reports that from Ukraine came 10,000 troops across the border to a location in Russia, Kursk. And many reports are coming out about Polish and French mercenaries inside the group. Now, Russia activated from other parts of Russia. They did not take away from their front operation in this area that's moving forward, taking out Ukraine and NATO forces inside Ukraine. They did not take troops from this front line. Instead, they activated from the north part of Russia and other parts of Russia up to 250,000 Russian troops. Russia now understands that they have to maintain the front line that's going on inside Ukraine, as well as secure the traditional Russian border. So that's going on. Now, it appears that one objective by the Ukraine NATO forces going into Kursk was to take over the Kursk nuclear power plant that's actually located about 40 kilometers west of Kursk. It's a 45-year-old nuclear power plant, has 4 reactors. 2 are shut down and covered up to 211 feet by a steel dome and concrete. 2 other reactors are still operating. It is reported that Russia has secured the Kursk nuclear power plant. So that's going on. Also, the Ukraine NATO objective was also to control a pipeline in that area. Now we have this, that the U.S., this has to do with Israel. The U.S. Released yesterday an Ohio-class sub from Crete, the USS Georgia, and it is moving forward equipped with 154 Tomahawk missiles. So the USS Georgia nuclear sub is in this area, ostensibly to help Israel. Now, it's my understanding that the U.S. military will not actively be involved in war against Iran, Syria, Lebanon, and so forth, but that if these groups attack Israel, the U.S. will defend Israel by shooting down the missiles and so on, but will not actively engage in a war standing in these territorial areas. So that's going on. Now we have this. Russia has put forth a NOTAM, and that is in this area, the Middle East area, a NOTAM over Israel, and Russia has advised its fighters to avoid this airspace from 1 a.m. to 7 a.m. every day until August 16. So we see a possible long-term plan for something to go on inside Israel. And we have this, the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, has stealth anti-ship missiles received from Russia, which Iran will use against U.S. ships. And we have this regarding Syria. Inside Syria, over this weekend, there was a hit, and the perpetrator is unidentified as of yet. Hit in Syria a U.S. air base, and there are reports of some deaths. And Russia has put together, they have activated these troops, plus they have formalized an anti-terror operation in Kursk, Belgorod, and Bryansk. So that's going on. And now we have this. From Steve Quayle's aggregate site, Ynet reports, and also the newspaper Telegraph reported over the weekend, that there are differences going on inside Iran. A few months ago, the president of Iran was assassinated in a plane trip. I covered that extensively. They have a new president who is a moderate, President, and they have a supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, which I understand the U.S. put in place decades ago. Now, we have evidence that there are some serious discussions and disagreements inside the Iranian government and military. So the Ayatollah Khamenei has okayed a wait on the attack on Israel. Now, Benjamin Fulford, a Canadian journalist who lives in Japan, reports there is a secret deal between the U.S., Russia, and Iran for Iran not to fully engage in a full-scale war attack on Israel if Israel stands down and brings about a ceasefire in Gaza. This is also being reported by Kuwaiti paper Al Jarida, as well as the Telegraph. So that's going on. The difference in the Iran government military. The new president, Kursk, wants, instead of Iran attacking Israel proper, they want Iran to attack NATO bases inside Syria and Iraq. The IRGC disagrees with this. And now we have this from Red State. Yeah, Serbia has a President Vučić, and the West, the deep state, the U.S., CIA, are paying mass rioters money to bring about a coup in Serbia because President Vučić, as we see with the Prime Minister in Slovakia, Fico, and in Hungary, I believe that's Orban, are pushing back against NATO. They don't want war in their nation. So the CIA deep state is going to try to bring about a coup in Serbia. And we have this report from Reuters. JB, the U.S., this is the way the deep state operates. They want war, war, war because they sell weapons to both sides. JB, the actor masquerading as the president of the U.S., has okayed to sell to Saudi Arabia to be used against Israel. And of course, this same show is giving weapons to Israel. So we see the deep state operating via the sham U.S. government to supply weapons to both sides. So that's going on. And JB okayed billions of dollars to Iran recently, so Iran had money to prosecute a war against Israel. Deep state. And now we have this. Yeah. When the NATO Ukraine troops went inside traditional Russia to attack Kursk, the Russian Air Force responded with carpet bombing. Now, it was being put forth at one time that Ukraine controlled in this area 22 settlements inside traditional Russia up to a distance of 30 kilometers and 19 miles. But then Russia mobilized troops. And now we have this from Canadian Prepper. Yeah, the Ukraine NATO group invaded Russia with brigades. It was up to 10,000 troops. And also talking about Russia putting down the NOTAM 1 to 7 a.m. every day until August 16 over Israel. And it's believed Israel has an alternative plan to hit inside Iran. And another plan is to hit Iran's alternate plan being put forth by the new president is to hit inside Syria and Iraq and other locations U.S. NATO bases plus secret underground Israeli Mossad locations. So that's going on. And now we have this. Canadian Prepper. So Russian planes have been going to Tehran and Syria. And in the past week, 8 to 10 large cargo planes went from Russia to Iran. And we have this. Syria has a plan to hit the U.S. base. So all these Middle East countries have plans to hit the U.S. military in the Middle East. So far, they're holding off. And now we have this. Canadian prepper. So the Strait of Hormuz along the Iranian coastline, if shut down, would dramatically increase the cost of oil per barrel and increase our cost of gasoline at the pump. So that's going on. We have the Teddy Roosevelt carrier in this hour. And Canadian preppers also reporting JV sent weapons to Saudi Arabia to use against Israel. Now we have this. We have inside the U.S. the strange report that the U.S. military was practicing landing C-130, those are large cargo planes, inside the U.S. on U.S. highways near Bono, Arkansas. What's up with that? And now we have this. What's up with shipping? Zelle AB reports. So there was a large, so here we have China, we have Taiwan, and strangely we had a Taiwan ship inside China, and it was blown up. A Hapag-Lloyd ship called the Yang Ming Mobility. Previously it had been used as a reefer, which means refrigerated units, but it wasn't being used as a reefer ship. It was transporting some type of cargo, and there was a major explosion on it. This happened August 9. There were a series of explosions. I'll link Zelle AB's What's Up with Shipping site because he shows the ship blowing up. And this happened inside China, a Taiwan ship. And Benjamin Fulford reports it was transporting weapons. And that's why it was blown up. So this concludes my world news flash update. It's good to be in prayer for Israel, for the U.S. military, and for the whole world, and to pray for peace and rational thinking. I love you, and I'll see you soon.